my song. Let's sing it. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Come on, it's gonna be fucking awesome. You know the words. It's gonna be fucking awesome. That's it, sing. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah!
Hey, hi. Hello, howdy. It's I, Jesse Blaze Snider, the Coolest Geek Alive. How are you doing, my fellow Coolest Geeks? Hope you're doing awesome. Hope some people were at the New York Comic Con this past weekend. I wasn't, but I had a lot of friends there. It seemed like everybody had a nice time. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, and I'm going to talk a bit about sports here a little bit, just because it plays into the culture of what's going on right now, strangely, with our society and the way things are playing out. I've spoken about this before, that, when the DEI initiative, which basically comes down from money on high, they've been incentivizing essentially hiring anybody that's not a white guy, and secondarily not a white woman, let's say. Even though lots of white women are involved in all of this, in the casting departments, and so many places attempting to really terraform the world a little bit single-handedly. When this started to happen, and there was a lot of people within my vicinity speaking about it, and I certainly ran up into, silently being told that I was kind of the wrong color or the wrong whatever. Which is funny too, because as I've spoken about before, I don't sell myself on this, but I am non-binary, and I'm very much not a traditional straight man, I guess, and I have lots to say about that stuff. But there's a difference between people who will sell themselves on the thing and who won't sell themselves on the thing. Which is why writers like Marjorie Liu, who I was excited, I was like, well, you know what? If these jobs aren't for me, then they're not for me, and I'm not going to fight the tide of these jobs weren't meant for me in the first place. Perhaps some of the wonderful, unsung writers of color and, persuasions or whatever else would get acknowledgement now, like my friend Mark Andreyko. Who's gay and has always been not to say like he's a vocally gay, but known to be gay, or I don't know how you express that, but everybody knew that Mark was gay, and Mark's great. I've tried to get Mark a lot of work because he's great and he deserves more work. I can't say that the changing of the tide seems to have affected his ability to get work that much. He's working consistently, it would seem, but he's not like a household name in comics. He hasn't been given the keys to any kingdoms. He deserves that. He's that talented. There's another writer I really like. I think I'm getting her name right. Marjorie Liu. She had written a ton of the Wolverine Origins books and a couple other things that I had read back in the day, and she was great. I really liked her stuff, and I had my eyes open for anything that she wrote after that. I think she has a pretty successful book over at Image, but that's it. And it's not like a hugely successful book. I can't name it. I've seen it come up occasionally, like, oh, she's got a book. Okay, I got to check that out one day. I maybe even wrote it down somewhere. But I don't remember what it's called. And she's really talented. And she had already demonstrated herself in some pretty high-profile spots. So you're looking for a female, not non-white. There they are. You got them. But she really nothing. And, there's other people who I remember thinking of more artists and creative people on the other side of things, a little bit less in the writing side. But another one I remember thinking was Christopher Priest, who I was introduced to Christopher Priest years ago when I came into comics in the beginning, reading Marvel Knights and his Black Panther run, which was really awesome. So much of the Black Panther films are based on Christopher Priest stuff. And Christopher Priest did what would be, I guess, my second favorite run on Deadpool, following up Joe Kelly's run. He had some great bits. I mean, some really memorable gags in his book. And I've read other things from Chris Priest along the way that were awesome. He did a really cool short-lived book that I wish had lived on, that was like a collection of different black characters, I guess, was kind of the theme, called The Crew. As War Machine, and I don't remember if it was the Black Panther or if it was the other alternate Black Panther with the rubber bullets. They had this really cool time in the book where the Black Panther had guns and he was shooting rubber bullets. It's really cool, but they had a really cool team that they put together. I think maybe Isaiah Bradley might have shown up in there, and I think Luke Cage. I'm not sure. I only read it once a long time ago, but I loved it. I hoped that it was going to go on, and it didn't. But it's just the one that's happening to pop to my head. Anyway, I love Christopher Priest. I think he's a great writer, and him too. I thought, okay, well, maybe Chris Priest will get some work. You know, I remember there was a whole bunch of people. I was like, oh man, there's a whole bunch of creative people that I think really deserve a light on them, and maybe this will usher them to the forefront like they deserve. And I'm telling you, that didn't happen. It really didn't happen. I was surprised. I'm still surprised. But I guess I'm not surprised as I understand what did happen, which was the more enterprising amongst the writers and the creative people, the more politicking, the more political, the more willing to put themselves out in that very sore thummy way that made their life all about their, unique background. There's a great movie called, what is it called? Fuck. The guy who plays Commissioner Gordon in the Batman movie plays the main guy, and he's a writer, and he pretends to be this came from nothing, blacker than black man who writes this book, and then he's got to pretend, and he's just doing a caricature of the thing. But that's what they're looking for. And forgive me for saying this, this isn't meant to insult, but it is an insult. I didn't create this. I'm just pointing it out. It's an insult. They're always trying to boil us all down to our parts. And this is why I resist, promoting myself as a non-binary writer or some bullshit. A writer of Ashkenazi Jewish descent, or some bit of my fucking little proclivity that somehow will give me a leg up against everybody else. I'm somebody who, if you've got one arm, I put one arm behind my back. And if you think you need to puff out your chest and do a whole bunch of extra things to whatever, or need this extra advantage, I'm cool with that too. I think I'll be all right. If coming from a perspective of somebody who loves everybody, I don't see color. I don't see persuasion. Who are you to say you're straight or whatever? Who knows what tomorrow will bring? It's just, we're all one being, and we're all, loving and scared and fearful and living under the same oppressions, and, we got to try to understand each other. So I'm somebody who comes from the place of understanding each other. And what I've learned in understanding each other is people are so unique, and there's so many interesting stories about interesting people who come from interesting places. And not when you go turn on the TV. It's this just homogenized fucking simple thing, because most of them aren't smart enough and cool enough to recognize how great and diverse reality really is, and how many characters there are, and how many unique types of black people and unique types of Hispanic people there may be. We just get like sort of sent a homogenization of like what they think it is. And the people who are willing to lean into the what they think it is, they get their way. I've actually talked about this before, maybe not on this show ever, but a long time ago, I realized that I was having a hard time in Hollywood and stuff, because they found me hard to believe. I am uniquely different from people. I play with toys. I was married to my high school sweetheart. I'm a comic book fan who's really a fan, been really reading for years and years. I'm a scholar, can write all sorts of things under the sun. I've been producing my own things and music. And, I'm somebody who really does a lot of things on their own and is really independently creative and, bringing a lot to the table. Why am I fucking even saying this? So people would just kind of like there's a lot of fake fans and a lot of and I was the child of a celebrity and all these things. So I would go into meetings and sort of be trying to give them my credibility, and I would sort of be met with like a doubting energy, and I would be like really working hard to sort of like lay out my credits kind of thing. And then other things would come really easy. Like, if I said, well, I know a lot of people, it'd just be like, well, obviously, of course, with your father and everything is right. So for them, this guy it was hard for them to believe that I was a geek. Like a real geek. A real geek, you actually spend hours and hours of your time digesting entertainment. Like, yeah, that's what I do. I'm a writer, and like I love entertainment, and like want to do a good job at it, and I've spent most of my life just studying it very well, deeply, since I was little, since I was a kid. So in Florida, I used to wake up every morning an hour before school, and I was in second, third, and fourth grade when I was in Florida doing this, and I would watch half of one of my favorite comedy movies: Blues Brothers, Holy Grail, Spaceballs, Blazing Saddles. One of the greats, and sometimes new things, but largely I would watch. But I was just listening to them, listening to the rhythm of the comedy, and I didn't know that I was studying the writing, but I was studying just everything about it. I was fascinated by it because my dad loved comedy. And I was like, I want to make him laugh. I'm going to make him laugh. He made me laugh. I'm going to make him laugh. And so I tried to really like understand comedy very deeply. And comedy is like, the best, most intricate form of writing and acting and everything. You want to fucking really be a good writer and a good actor? Study comedy very deeply. Very deeply. It's basically the art of the short story. Think of a comedy set. It's just a whole bunch of short stories linked together. And, maybe they'll have callbacks and stuff to one of the earlier stories. But it's really just short storytelling. And, as a writer, for those of you who haven't heard me say in a minute and don't understand, I've written for Marvel, I've written for DC, I've written for Disney, Pixar, and the Muppets, and every independent comic company under the sun for the most part, or pitched for them or whatever it might be. I have a lot of experience. And comedy will get you there the quickest. Writing short stories in particular is really great. Writing comedy is writing short stories, but then, so short stories are like a little bit better for the writer because it's somewhere between the writing comedy, writing little bits, and writing something cohesive. A short story, it's got a beginning, middle, and end, even though it's a short story. And granted, a comedy bit does too. But there's a ton of little beginning, middle, ends within a short story that ultimately amount to a larger beginning, middle, end. And in comedy, generally speaking, you're dealing with the beginning, middle, end, another beginning, middle, end, another beginning, middle, end, maybe a callback, another beginning, middle, end, something similar like that. So it's the case that I started to go back into these meetings and I would pitch them on what I knew they would believe. And I would put all my credits in a nice long, thing that was easy for them to find. And I'd say, I've worked extensively in comics, I'd point out, but it'd be like the last thing that I would mention or whatever. We would talk about it or whatever. But we would immediately shift to the things that they believed and was clear that they kind of wanted to hear. And then that's what you tell them. You tell them what they want to hear, and then you try to make that deal happen. And you go, yeah, because of my dad, D. Snider, I know all these celebrities, man, and stuff. And I do. On some level, there's some people that I have access to or whatever. At the same time, though, I'm not exactly I'm a writer, I'm an intellectual, so I'm selective about my people and so many other things. But this was to say to these people exactly what they wanted to hear, and they could read into it in their own way. And this is what's happening with the people who are being cast. They're giving the casting people, which are now all producers of any kind, whether you're producing comics, music, sports, everything, like all the people who are producing the stuff, they are casting. They're casting everything. And by casting, I mean they are selecting, they're looking for a certain type. They're looking for a black girl. They're looking for a white woman. They're looking for an Asian. They're looking for a Hispanic person. Everything is being cast now. Everybody is very consciously thinking about, well, what race will the person be? What sex will the person be? What orientation will the person be who will host our program, who will be these characters? And in a very aggressively additive way of we want as many of these characters to be these things that aren't white male because we get money, the studios, they do, and through various other things, through the DEI initiatives and the stuff that the BlackRocks and Vanguards and State Streets of the world are trying to force this societal change. And ultimately, make no mistake, this societal change that they're trying to force, it's not about the betterment of mankind. It's literally about causing civil war. They're trying to get as much sort of like in-your-face opposition to some of the things like Puritan Christians and whatever other people who have a hard time with some of these more open world. We could be slowly acclimating people to the idea that everybody can live and let live. But they're literally, in some ways, making this thing as aggressive as possible to make it divisive. Trust, they're not looking for the American empire to last forever. They'd love to see us destroy ourselves and then rebuild a new empire that they control a little better than the last one. All over the world. That's, what they want. As the governments fall, the money always stays in power. The money controls both sides of every war and isn't prosecuted for it. World War II, they funded the Nazis, they funded us. Did they choose the victors? Who knows? For me, those motherfuckers should have been rounded up and fucking taken care of. They're on both sides of the thing, profiting from the death on both sides. And this is every war. Every war. There is one ultimate group at the tippy top who are profiting colossally. So make no mistake, the overcorrection here, which generally speaking makes all regular liberals a little bit concerned and a little, like if you're a really aggressive liberal, I understand why you think this is great. If you're a really aggressive liberal, let me tell you, I was a really aggressive liberal before there were a lot of really aggressive liberals. But the tide has changed. Most of this aggressive liberal shit, it's virtue signaling. And you're actually aligning yourselves with a lot of people who are not good. And I'm telling you this. If you're a good person who is aggressively being a part of this, I'm telling you, the tide shifted. And there was a moment where people thought it was safe to project yourself as being outwardly as good in any capacity as possible. And there was a lot of simple, silly, meaningless ways in which you could project yourself out there. This is what the Kamala Harris and Democratic Party thing, they've been trying to foster this idea of this is goodness and anything else is like, and oh man, what a divisive and terrible notion it is to think that way. And if you're out there and you're feeling that way, and you've bought into this, it's I'm one of the most liberal-minded people on planet Earth, but the Democratic Party has tricked me and fucked with me in many insidious ways, because I'm 42 and I've been dealing with the Democratic Party for all my life. And the last straw for me was what they did to Bernie Sanders. There was a real chance that Bernie could have taken things. He had real energy behind him. Just like Trump. People were at his rallies. People cared about what he had to say. We believed in him as a person. And then they funneled all that money to Hillary. And I'm a Democrat who's been paying attention. And I'll trust Hillary as far as I can fucking throw her. Okay? And I was a Democrat, voting Democrat, going, no Hillary, no Hillary, no Hillary. Now I'm a centrist, still going, no fucking Hillary. But this isn't I'm not a crazy person. I'm a very liberal person who wants the world to be a better place. And I believe in a hybrid system as possible. I do believe that a capitalist system and whatnot, it encourages greatness. And my father's a rock star. I like the idea of people being able to go out there and pursue something beyond what others might conceive of today. And that isn't something that I believe we should ever get rid of. But should we fucking take care of our fellow man? Should we get homeless people off the street? Should we be honorable and cool to people and make sure that people are being protected from freaking abuse and rape? And yes. Fuck yeah. Should there be programs in place and care from a government to go and help these people? Yes. Would I also like to maybe see those programs fall in line in more of an encouragement system, something that you're not on welfare forever, welfare helps you to get to the level where you can sustain yourself and things like that. So I have a lot of, I guess, hybrid sort of thoughts about things nowadays, which is really what I think we need. We need a hybrid system where the people on the left can feel like we're taking care of people, because we should. And the people on the right can feel like our money's not being fucking squandered and wasted on nothing. And that, because the people who are offering us, these Democrats, dude, the two Democrats who I trusted of the new wave of Democrats was Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard. And they got run out of the Democratic Party for being fucking honest, for not being in cahoots with the damn pharmaceutical companies and the just, oh God, it's all such a web of crazy shit. But it really is legit. And I have my doubts that Trump is as, I don't know, altruistic as lots of people like to make him out to be. But I do believe that he's a self-motivated person who likes to be viewed positively. And I don't believe that anybody wants to go down in history as Hitler. And I've seen him interact very wonderfully with black people many, 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 many times. It's really just all this notion of he's racist is the same sort of ways in which that people are being made to be you're sexist and you're racist and you're all this islamophobe things in the geek community. He's racist because he wants to get rid of illegal immigrants? Dude, it's not immigrants. It's illegal immigrants. You guys have no fucking clue how much espionage and shit are going on planet Earth. We don't want fucking illegal immigrants. We want people coming through the proper channels. We want to make it difficult for people to fucking sneak into America. You know, we want to know when people are coming here. You know, they know, and everybody knows when you leave and you go anywhere else. Why are we letting people sneak around off the grid when you, the voting people, aren't sneaking around off the grid? So he's racist because there's people who are coming from foreign lands. Like, and just because somebody's coming from foreign lands doesn't mean they're necessarily Hispanic or black or anything. They could be white. Is any mix of people? It's like implied racism in like stupid things that he said and other stuff. I mean, I've heard a thing or two, or that I'm like, yeah, this is why I don't really like dig the man. He's not my kind of person. But not my kind of person doesn't necessarily mean eating babies. Doesn't necessarily mean really doing dastardly things. There's a lot of fucking degrees of people and whatnot. And honestly, a man who is just being himself and putting his foot in the mouth all the time is way more appealing to me than somebody who is lying through their teeth all the fucking time or rambling and saying nothing, which is largely what the Democratic Party has come to do over all these years as I've watched them. The Democratic Party is a trick. We're liberals. So liberal people, we're really easy to manipulate. They go, oh, look, the sad thing. We're going to fix it. But they don't fix anything. I swear. They don't fix anything. They don't do anything for black people. And in fact, lots of things insidiously get worse. And they blame it on the fucking Republicans and shit. And the Republicans are sometimes involved with these things. Plenty of the Republicans are freaking corrupt too. But the Democratic Party, holy shit, over the years, Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. leaving, like, that to me sort of said like everything, like, because they were the only people who didn't seem to be part of the club. And like, it is a club, as George Carlin has once said. And the Democratic Party thing, it's an insidious trick, unfortunately. There have been people like Bernie Sanders who I would have voted for, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard, who are real people and honest people and liberal-minded. But it's crazy that we're living in a world where the Republican Party is the open-minded party that will accept them into the party and conversations within that party. And how incredible will the Republican Party be if they actually start having some conversations with people like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard to bridge some gaps and figure out some things that we can do that are in the middle. That's incredible. That's made me, I'm a full-on Trump supporter at this point because RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard are behind him. I'll do anything to get those two people into a position of power where they can do something. Tulsi's been in the military, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. really understands what's going on with our health right now, what's going on with our food. And for my children, my 4 children, I need people who understand the real need to keep us out of war and none of this fucking draft bullshit and and get all this shit out of our food. And we need real change. I've never been a supporter until now. There are fucking Make America Healthy Again hats, and that is all I want. And I want to cry saying it because I worry that there's somebody out there right now who's going, wow, Jesse, you just said like you're supporting Trump. Like, dude, I just want us to be better. And I know that nothing is going to change if we keep electing these same politicians who are parts of these same clubs. And Trump is obviously not a member of their club. They do not like Trump. So that's one thing I know. But it's crazy. And I really think that this is a part of the whole conversation when it comes to Gina Carano and Caitlin Clark now. To put it in Star Wars terms, Gina Carano was the droid Disney Star Wars was looking for. What was their slogan? The Force is female. The Force is fucking female. Well, here she is. Here's Gina Carano. She's a breakout star. They love her. The fandom loves her. She's legit. She's an ex-pro MMA fighter, and she's legit. But there's a problem. She's a bit of a centrist, and she's not cowing down to play any of the silly games, and she's just a little bit more traditional than the new establishment Disney would like. The tweet that she famously was fired for at the time is as, not to say it's innocuous, it was powerful. It was powerful and it was meaningful. At the time, there was a lot of conversation going on about fucking like from the left saying we're going to take away the rights of the people on the right. And I do not believe in taking away the rights of anybody, anywhere, at any time. I believe in free will. As long as people aren't directly hurting other people, do not take away other people's rights. I was very much against this. And Gina Carano came out and she said, this demonization of the Republican Party is very similar, in some way she said this, to what happened to the Jews during the Holocaust. And she's 100% on the money right here. Before you sit there arguing with her at home. They were demonized amongst the population over time. There's a great comic book that you can read about this called Mouse. Mouse really shows you kind of how something will change, like an adjustments over time. But it was about changing the face of a group of people so that they could be demonized in mass. That is exactly what was and has been and is still being done to Republicans in mass. This is fucked up. This is what leads to civil war and other things, because when you make people inhuman, any Donald Trump supporter is not a human being. Like, it's like that's you guys are you're doing the thing. So she was saying on Twitter that this thing of where you dehumanize each other is what leads to Holocausts and things like that happening. People turning on their fellow man, and turning their backs on their fellow man because they've been so expertly demonized by the local media that, the people are convinced, oh yeah, they deserve it. They deserve to be treated this way. When I found the tweet that I was like, I literally had written something similar on my own fucking Twitter days before. I was literally like, I had written this. She got canceled for this. So from day one, I've been like, that was a good point she made. That was an important point she made. I tried to make the same point when this was happening. But I don't have the reach that Gina Carano has. So nobody gave a shit on my end. But oh boy, did it piss off the wrong people at Disney. Now, instead of making this right somehow internally so that Disney could save the fucking face of the Force is female, essentially the only female character that has come out of Star Wars a success. I like the fucking weirdo droid from Rogue One. No, wait. The weirdo droid from Solo. But that movie's a fucking failure. Rogue One, you can't say that Jyn Erso is like some character everybody's fucking cosplaying as and shit, even though I like Rogue One a lot. I mean, what's the best female character in fucking Star Wars? It's Cara Dune. It's Gina Carano's Cara Dune. Number one with a bullet. She's popular. Her toy was popular and was selling for more than the toy would normally go for before they fucking canceled her and trying to get them off the shelves. Now it's like hugely valuable. I'll tell you how you understand what's going on in the world. Go to the collector's market. This is why I'm as smart, as I am. I'm not smart. I'm savvy. because I actually collect things. I love toys and posters and statues, and my rooms, my offices are always filled with these things, and I admire these artists who make them. I make them now myself, as a professional, whether it's comics and producing things. So, like, I have a very deep appreciation of this that goes into a well of knowledge for how the things are made, and what people are buying, because I am a buyer. And I see what's there. Oh, people are, even if you're not into the thing, you see the thing there all of a sudden. And then, you're going to the store all the time because you like a certain thing and you develop relationships with people. And then you go, hey, Tommy, what's this thing? And then you know about that thing. And then you recommend it to people sometimes. Like when there's little kids coming up and you're like, oh, yeah, there's this fucking thing. You should check this out. Whatever it might be. Pokemon cards, which have still lasted a long time. But, there's always kind of new things that are interesting for various people. I'm trying to remember what was being sold at. I had through my ex-wife's family, there was they had originally owned a greeting card store which sold a lot of comic books. They made a shitload of money during the comic book boom when so many of these stores were making up. They were very much, not fans. They were just people who were taking advantage of the market and taking advantage of the collectability. And they sold all sorts of things at various times. Beanie Babies was a big thing for them, and they made tons of money. And for years and years and years, because eventually the stationery store just became, he had a warehouse and he would sell these things wholesale to the other stationery stores and other things. And he would sell the Pokemon cards and tons of different things. But I'm trying to remember some of the things that came and went in between. But at various times, me and my ex-wife, we would go and we would buy them for all the kids, the various kids that had been born at the time, not been born, but who were coming up and were various ages, and these were popular kind of gifts and stuff. And we would go because we could get them discounted, and we would go get these things. But yeah, I'm blanking out on something. I keep wanting to say Beyblades. I'm I don't know if that's one of the things. There was Pogs years ago. There's always something. So anyway, through the collectability market, the collectibles market, and what is being collected, what is in the cutout bin, et cetera, you can figure these things out. And it's very clear to see, number one with a bullet, the best Forces female Star Wars female character, Cara Dune. And Disney fucked it up. Why? They fucked it up because they can't have the one that connects with the people not be in alignment with their politics and playing their game the way they want it played. I think there's something very similar going on with Miss Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. For ages, people have just been joking about the WNBA, joking about the level of play, their lack of fans, the lack of interest, amongst women. This is the thing. So much of the reason why a lot of things have focused towards leading men and blah 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 blah, is because women, in general, they like men in a sort of, it's different but similar sort of way to men. If you don't know this, in general, they're trying to sort of apply themselves to be a person of desirability, or, we know ourselves that's the mission, whether we've given up on that mission or not on one level or another, may be the thing. But we know that the mission is sort of to make ourselves valuable. And women are conditioned as well, to expect sort of this and be looking for this valuable man. And I think to some degree, women just want to be able to relax and be like, yes, he's a valuable man. There you go. I can admire them. They're valuable. They are an admirable person. Yay. So men as leading men and whatnot, often you have women very interested in those characters because, yes, it's a man who I can admire. I've been looking for one of those. And the men go, yes, that's the man I'd like to be. Now, in the female context of things, it's not exactly the same. Sometimes men can get empowered by women under the right circumstances and, with the right writing and whatnot. But to some degree, men are just looking for women who they're attracted to, who are sort of like balancing to their energy, and they're hoping that when they find that person that they deserve them, but what men aren't really looking for is a woman to actually have to really prove herself, really. And this is true. I'll tell you, just for me, and my mom's an overachiever. I appreciate the overachiever. My girl's an overachiever. Most of the girls who I've gone out with on some level or another are overachievers. But some of the people who I've gone out with are overachievers just simply in the way of their kindness. They're just really sweet and kind and wonderful people. And that's all I require from a person I'm looking for. I know that I'm supposed to really bring a lot of value to the table, and I believe that I can and that I should, and there's no reason not to try. And there's ups and downs in that and whatnot, and I've had plenty of my own difficulties. Things aren't as easy right now as I'd like them to be. But I don't expect anything, even myself, who does believe in people, believes in the greatness of men and women and equality of men and women, and that greatness can come from anywhere. And I am very encouraging of these loving people. Case in point, my ex-wife, Patty. I would say, the thing that I think is most exceptional about her is what a wonderful person she is. She's just a wonderful person. She's really great to people. She's grown up as a waitress and a bartender and something. She will be the greatest waitress you ever had, greatest bartender you ever had. Likes to take care of people. Really, really means it. And at the same time, though, she's also a decent artist, and she's a great baker. And I've tried to encourage, and she's also wonderful with kids. And, I've tried to encourage her at various times to start her own business, start her own daycare, her own bakery. She loves to bake. She just really vibes with that. She loves people, and she's very responsible and good, qualities of whatever. But, she's not an astronaut or anything. I didn't pick her to marry her because she had achieved something and needed to be some bit of greatness. That wasn't important to me. What was important to me was that I had somebody who I thought was a truly great person. And I really do think that that's true for most men. They're looking for somebody who they admire as a human to put by them and to remind them how to be good or how to be good at things. And that backwards in fiction, it doesn't totally translate to the women being drawn to the badass woman protagonist, because a lot of the women know subtly that the men don't really need anything from them. And that ultimately anything that they're doing, for their mind or whatever is for themselves, which is great. Everybody should be able to, if I was a lady, I'm sure, I would be wanting to do stuff. My mom's a real independent lady. She was really kind of devastated certain aspects of her career that had to get cut short and stuff because, she got had babies and whatnot. But I get that. I totally get wanting to do it for you. But the real understanding within the culture, and again, there are exceptions to all these rules and whatnot, but ultimately it's not a male-female thing. It's a masculine-feminine thing. And masculine-feminine is an energy that exists in both men and women in different amounts. And in gay relationships and straight relationships, it doesn't matter what it is, everybody's working with the same two relationships that are ebbing and flowing back and forth. And that when you see a to some degree, if it was a butch, dykey lesbian going after the girl and done really in a way that a man could appreciate, I think guys would probably get behind that even more so. And I'm just sorry. It's just as like if you made it really extreme. So it was like the hyper masculine, which is ultimately what you get when you get the male figure on screen. In general, when they put the girls on screen, a lot of times they don't make them go through as much. Like, they don't want to hurt them. They don't want to damage them. They want them to be pretty. This is not a problem that you have with guys. It's like, look at Marv in Sin City. Just tear this motherfucker to shit. And, you're still there kind of going, oh, I love this guy. And, like, there's still women going, like, I'd fuck him. Because the women, they care about, like, sort of how hard the man is willing to work, or how hard the masculine is able to work for the feminine. That kind of tends to be the thing. The feminine energy wants the other energy to work for it. And it goes back like I'm a little bit of, I'm more feminine energy. So, like, I like when my girls are working for it a little bit, I guess. Not to say that I like to make them work for it or anything, but when they're putting in effort to make me feel like I'm okay with them is, like, important to me. And meanwhile, on some levels, I know a lot of the girls like that, like, they don't need that as much as me, probably, that I've gone out with. But we all do. We all ultimately need the support and the verbal thing. But this is a thing, a really important thing. So it's a tricky maneuver getting these women over. It's not been happening, very, very well. There's lots of reasons, there's plenty of people who can do breakdowns on how, ultimately Ray ends up being a bit of a Mary Sue because she doesn't have to work hard enough for a lot of things, and how, a couple different scenes of her struggling in this way or that way could have really made the difference with the audience. And there's a lot of characters like that, especially smaller, shorter order characters who come in and they don't have a lot of time to be developed, and they're just sort of like developed in real short order, that make them, again, seemingly sort of, what do you call it? Like diversity hires, like they did, like as a writer, it's your responsibility to make all of these characters have earned their presence in the story and in the film, or whatever it might be. You gotta. If you don't make your racially diverse character or your female character earn it the same way the white male would, you're doing them a terrible disservice, actually. And you're actually, as far as I'm concerned, it's like, that's racism. It's like you got to treat everybody equally. And especially once you do, that's when the audience is on board, And nowadays, there's lots of things that, can send your audience away because now they've become so accustomed to this being done wrong. So it's not even something that can really be, like, fixed exactly right now. Like, it's got to be just sort of, like, chilled out. It's when they have had it naturally, and there are other examples of this. I couldn't think of them, but Caitlin Clark and Gina Carano have just been popping into my head. The update on Gina Carano is that she had some minor wins in her case, which was basically Disney was basically trying to stop the case from going to trial, and twice they denied that from happening, and that means that this is going to go into discovery, and Disney does not want that to happen, because basically it's going to become public documents on the record about internal documents, things that were said about Gina Carano and this whole situation that Disney is going to have to bring to the light of day. And Disney does not want that to happen, I promise you. And that is what is going to happen now. So really big for Gina Carano. And I think this is going to be illuminating for so many people. And, but how many people are actually going to see it on their news? Will any of the Democratic news platforms actually cover it? It used to be that Fox and the other news things, would cover the same news, but they would cover it very differently. Now, literally, they don't cover the same stories. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. And you don't know it. Like, if all you watch is CNN and MSNBC, you're watching all the same stuff. If you watch Fox, you're like, did you see the story about January 6th and what happened really? And, like, nobody knows. There's so much information, like on January 6th in particular, that has come out that has it is as clear as could be. The whole fucking thing on January 6th was some sort of weird trap op that the government was like doing to, I guess, make Trump supporters look bad. And I guess it worked, even though finally information has come out. But the people who it worked on aren't getting the information that it was bullshit. And there's so much video footage of fucking police officers showing these criminals around the fucking courthouse and shit. I mean, it's insane. It's done. Put a nail in it. It's over. There was no fucking January 6th thing. It was a fucking psyop. It was some bullshit that they were trying to do to take down their political opponents. It's very clearly there. It's not being shown that way in any way, shape, or form. It has not been revealed in any of the fucking details that are not now available about it. And I know about it because I don't just watch that fucking news. But I will watch some of it, and I will watch some Fox, and I will watch plenty of independent news where I find out much more information. But what was covered on Fox News, plenty, was not covered at all on MSNBC or CNN or any of these fucking places. They literally just ignored the stories. And that's what they do now. They just ignore the inconvenient stories. And I'm sure Fox is probably doing the same thing. It's just, it's gotten to this insane point. And now this Caitlin Clark thing, you know, it's very much the same thing. It's the same thing and maybe even worse. On whatever level Caitlin Clark isn't playing their game, she's become, like, she's the only reason why anybody's been paying attention to the WNBA in the first place. She's been deemed the fucking Michael Jordan of the WNBA. She's that good. She really is that good. If you've never watched any footage of Caitlin Clark, she's a fucking incredible player. She is just really precise and very egoless, and she's kind of a machine. Like, watching her play, she's so focused. She's so eye on the prize. And I really think it is pissing everybody off because nobody has been able to bait her into saying anything, and people have been attacking her on the court and attacking her in the press. And every single one of these bitches who's been attacking her in the press, as far as I'm concerned, they are trash in my eyes. Every single one of them has made themselves look awful to every single person on planet Earth, as far as I'm concerned. I doubt they have very many supporters. They are going after the best player in the league for being fucking great at what she does, and they're making themselves look small. And it's coming out as a racist thing, ultimately, because she's white in a largely black league. And she's not quite so big as some of these women, and she's getting elbowed in the face and harassed and attacked, and nothing is being done about it. They're not protecting her. Just as they should have protected Gina Carano, the WNBA should be doing everything in their power to protect the golden goose that is this Caitlin Clark chick. Literally. All my knowledge of the WNBA, everything that I know that I'm interested in any way, shape, or form, stems from the fact that Caitlin Clark exists. Well, guess what? Caitlin Clark has left the WNBA. She's done playing with them, and she's off to the European League, a league that is, I guess, more predominantly white, coincidentally, where she hopes she'll be treated with more respect. And fucking A, let me just... It's for you, fucking Caitlin Clark. And this is for you, Gina Carano. And granted, I gotta thank freaking Elon Musk for backing up Gina. Thank you. I don't trust Elon Musk really as far as I can throw him, but he says plenty of things that I do agree with. Fuck yes. Fuck the WNBA. Who needs them? That all these freaking pundits on the fucking news coming up against this girl. This girl came into a league where there is plenty of things working against her, and she is a dominant force. As a rookie, I mean, like this, like she's been dominating in this league and making it matter from the moment she stepped onto the court, and now the culture. She left. And I wish that Gina Carano could have done the same thing. I wish Gina Carano could have said, nah, I don't want to do Rangers of the New Republic. This place sucks. I'm leaving. It sucks that they trashed her and all these things, and she was excited and trying to be a part of the thing and had to get taken through the mud like this in her career, get fucking thrown and upended. I mean, granted, she's got a career now afterwards and whatnot, but still, the trajectory that she was on, there's a lot of wonderful things that could have happened. She could have been a cool key member and Star. Positive things could have come out of Gina Carano and the Rangers of the New Republic and the stuff that was going on with her. And no, now it's done. Now it's over. This is why we can't have nice things. It's crazy. I mean, it's really crazy. It's an ugly world that we live in, and guys, I say this to you, earnestly. You got Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard in there with Trump, and I'm saying, I'm supporting that thing, and I'm hoping for the best. But I'm the same way I fucking voted for Obama twice, hoping that he was going to come through on some of the things he said, and hoping that the wars were going to end, and hoping that he was going to lower the price of insulin. I can't believe that fucking Trump was the one who lowered the price of insulin and a couple other drugs. I can't believe that Trump was the one that we didn't go to war on. I look forward to getting back to that not being at war thing. You guys see the video of Kamala Harris talking about there not being any active duty people, and the fucking active duty people making a video of them watching her say this, going, what the fuck are we doing? What are you talking about? It's just crazy, man. So, I know I said that, I didn't mean to come out as a Trump supporter, and I know that for some of you guys that's a triggering thing. But please don't be triggered. Recognize that a super, super liberal guy like Jesse is come to this place. Super liberal people like Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. who really care about people have come to this place. And, I'm not the only one. Was it not Sean Levy? Shazam, Captain Marvel. Love that dude. Met him years ago. He's a great dude. Sean Levy? I don't know. The guy who plays Shazam. Captain Marvel. You guys don't know him as Captain Marvel. Shazam from the movies. He just came out and said, I really do believe this is the thing. There's not going to be a Hollywood. All of this stuff, all the people who are promoting so much of these ideologies, and they're part of a system. They're praying to a system. They're getting money from a system that is not going to be around in its current form much longer. And I am part of making plans to replace it with creative people who are great, who are out there, who are all now currently going, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way to observe this bullshit system and do something better. And we're going to. Listen. Gina Carano and Caitlin Clark are exactly the matriarchy, especially Gina through her tweet and Caitlin through her great sportsmanship that we're looking for. They're balanced women who have the masculinity to go hard in professional sports and have the softness and coolness, maturity, and maternity to turn the other cheek, to point out that dehumanizing groups of people is what led to the Holocaust taking place. Why is that such a terrible thing to say? That is what led to the Holocaust taking place. That is a wonderful lesson to have learned. That is a wonderful lesson to teach and pass on. That is a wonderful lesson for you to take your platform to use, to pass on. Caitlin Clark, I mean, it's like the conversation, the fact that the conversation with Caitlin Clark just kept intensifying, despite the fact that I have literally never seen a single fucking word come out of Caitlin Clark's mouth that inflamed any of the conversation surrounding her. But boy, did they have shit to fucking say about Caitlin Clark. Everybody wanted to talk about Caitlin Clark. And she just respectfully, coolly, keeping it chill. This is what we want. These are the women we're looking for. I encourage you all, when you find women like this, women like Tulsi Gabbard. I love Tulsi Gabbard. I'm kind of in love with Tulsi Gabbard. She's trying to save the world. She's beautiful. She's an active, not active, but she was in the military. She was, and she's using her platform to fucking do something, to try to help people. So many veterans. The veteran homeless is like it's like we need to start somewhere. The homeless vets, please save them, and then help the other vets and the other homeless. Like, I mean, if a country cannot do this, what is a country? Please, if we can't take care of each other, if we can't take care of ourselves, what are we? What does it mean to be a country? I don't believe in a world government. I don't believe that larger groups of things do a better job at handling things. I don't. I believe the smaller groups of the things do a better job at handling the things. So I do believe very much so. We need to start with ourselves. We can't say that we don't have money to give to FEMA, to give to us, and the hurricane survivors and people suffering in America because we gave it away to Ukraine, because we gave it away to Israel, because we gave it away to anywhere besides our people. When there are no homeless people in America, when there are no suffering people in America, then, take our resources and start handing them out to other people, because obviously we have more than we need. But until such time as this place gets under control, that I feel comfortable and safe, that your children and my children are going to be comfortable and safe for the rest of their fucking lives, we're not done. Anyway, these are my thoughts. I love you guys. I'm totally open to conversation always. And, and feel free to write me at jesseblaze@jessesnider.com. I'll be back on Saturday with a coolest pick or a coolest classic. Not sure which one yet. I think possibly a coolest pick, because I've been watching some new shit that I want to recommend. And I always like to recommend it like as soon as it's out, help it do better. And then if you're not listening to my music show every Monday, All Your Favorite Bands Suck, I'm getting up to 50 different bands now that we've covered. I'm doing the Sherman. No, I just did the Sherman Brothers. I'm doing Randy Newman this week. Short People. I fucking love Randy Newman. He did the Toy Story soundtrack and Three Amigos soundtrack and lots of things. Anyway, great show. If you like music, all sorts of genres, things that aren't appreciated enough. And then every Friday I do my Everything They Don't Want You to Know show, my show on esoteric wisdom. Hope you're checking that one out too. Anyway, I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening to this show today. Sorry that it got a little political and stuff. I hope you appreciated my hopefully balanced perspective on things and attempting to make it all make sense. But my mom's a powerful woman. I love powerful women. And I really do. Every woman that I've ever had in my life who I seriously loved or whatever, they're powerful women. My ex-girlfriend Meg's a powerful woman. My girl Julie, who I want to marry, she's a powerful woman. My ex-wife Patty's a powerful woman. Even my ex-girlfriend Katie, who I only went out with for 3 months, she's a powerful woman. And so many little girlfriends that I just had here, there, just people that I felt comfortable with. Just lots of powerful women. I love powerful women. There's no reason not to have powerful women. And powerful women aren't always the heroic, action-oriented person of the story. A lot of times, powerful women play ancillary roles in that more physical character's story. The physical character tends to be the man. They tend to be doing the more physical type things and putting themselves in more harm's way. Just percentage-wise, this is just the thing. But that doesn't mean the women don't have fucking important roles to play. And they can be badasses too, as we see with fucking Cara Dune and as we see with Caitlin Clark. Anyway, I love you all, and no matter who you're voting for or what you think or anything, I love everybody, and there's not a person on planet Earth who I hate. I want to see us all get through all this shit. And, I hope that whatever happens, whoever wins, that the world is a better place the next day because of it. I really do. Anyway, I love you guys so much. And I hope you join me again next Wednesday for another fucking awesome episode of the Coolest Geek Alive. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Coolest Geek Alive with me, your host, Jesse Blaze Snider. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more excellent geek culture content. Thanks for listening.
It's my favorite part! Isn't that heavy? I played that. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Coolest alive. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Stay with your tribe. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Revenge of the Geeks. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Week after weeks. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Laughing with you. It's gonna be fucking awesome. And crying sometimes too. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Spelling it out. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Making you shout. I'm a genius. I've got lyrics coming out me bum for days. You like that? It's a kazoo solo. I played that too. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Talking some shit. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Living your shit. My voice is fucking awesome. Food in our mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Get in the mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Tell all your friends. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Call right or text. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Raising the bar. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Straight to the stars. It's gonna be fucking awesome. It's starting soon. Straight to the top of the pops for this one. Passing the moon. It's gonna be fucking awesome. On with the show. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Ready, set, go. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Fucking awesome. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Just wait. You'll see. You'll all see.
The podcast playground.